You better be careful making pronouncements and oaths and vows unto a false god. And you know what this makes me think of? This makes me think of the Mormon church, the Latter-day Saints. They make all kinds of vows to their false god. They go into that Mormon temple and they swear that they're going to obey this rule, and they swear that they're going to obey that rule. And in fact, in the modern temple ceremony, which used to be secret, but now with the advent of super tiny cameras, people can smuggle in cameras, even though they make them change their clothing and put on a special outfit, you know, so they couldn't really smuggle in a camcorder or anything, or a cell phone. Now cameras are getting so small, they can smuggle it in, okay? And so now you can go on YouTube and watch the whole endowment ceremony from 2017 or something. I mean, modern, up to the minute, up to date, what's going on in that temple in Salt Lake City. And in that video, Lucifer partakes in the ceremony. And he tells them, quick, put on these aprons. And then you know what they do? They pause the video and they say, all right, everybody, let's put on our aprons. Excuse me, Lucifer just told us to put on these aprons? Okay. They ask Lucifer, what is that apron you're wearing? In the ceremony, Adam and Eve asked Lucifer. And Lucifer says, this is the symbol of my power and my priesthood, pointing to the apron. Then he has them all put on that apron. Okay? Then 20 minutes later in the ceremony, they're still wearing the apron. They're wearing all white and then a green apron representing the fig leaves, which, by the way, the fig leaf apron was a bad example. You remember that? God replaced it with coats of skins. But they're still wearing the fig leaf apron 20 minutes later when they do their handshakes that are straight out of Freemasonry, because Joseph Smith joined Freemasonry 3 months before inventing the endowment ceremony. And they do the handshakes, and here's what they say. Power and the priesthood be upon me and upon my seed forever. What power? What priesthood? Well, they just finished saying that that apron was the symbol of Lucifer's power and priesthood. They're wearing that, and then they say, power and priesthood be upon me and upon my seed forever. And then in the act where Lucifer is interacting with Adam and Eve on their video, Lucifer says, and if you break any of these vows, then you'll be in my power forever. And he says it real creepy. The camera like zooms in on Lucifer, like, then if you break any of these vows, you'll be in my power forever. But guess what some of the vows are? The vows are to obey a whole bunch of rules that no one could. One of the things that they can't do, because they list a bunch of things. I'm not going to do this. They make vows. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And one of the things that they promise to abstain from is loud laughter. Loud laughter. Go watch it. Loud laughter. In fact, whenever I've known Mormons in my life, because I have this inside information, sometimes I kind of drop a little info. Like one time I had a Mormon laugh loudly in my driveway. That was part of like an organic food co-op, and I said, watch it, no loud laughter. And she's like, oh, you know what, you're right. It's true. That's one of the things that Joseph Smith condemned. Whoa, you are all going to hell. Whoa there, buddy. Yeah, no loud laughter. So the point is, they're promising these promises that they can't keep. I mean, what if you promise, like, I'm never going to sin again or something? I'm never going to tell a lie. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to disobey my parents. Well, then what happens when you do it? You broke your vow. So you shouldn't make those kind of vows. But especially not making vows by the God of Dan, by the manor of Beersheba, by idols and false gods, and certainly not by Lucifer. But what are they doing? They're making vows in the name of Lucifer, and what happens? You know what? The Bible said, they shall fall in verse 14 and never rise up again. Have you noticed how people, they quit the Mormon church every day? The Latter-day Saints right now are hemorrhaging members right now. They're losing members every day because of this thing called the internet, where people can see what's going on in that creepy ceremony. People can see the book of Abraham is a complete fraud. But guess what? These people that are leaving the Mormon church every day, you know what they're not doing? They're not becoming a Baptist. They're not becoming an evangelical Christian. You know what they're becoming? Atheists. They're becoming agnostics. When you look at the former Mormons, they're constantly atheists. They're constantly agnostic. Why? Because you know what? They just fall and they don't rise up again. They're under the power of Lucifer because they put themselves there. They put their children under the power of Lucifer. They put themselves under the power of Lucifer. I mean, that's a tough nut to crack. It is hard to get these people saved. It is hard to pull them out of the fire. You want to know why Gilbert's a hard area to go soul winning? You want to know why certain parts of Mesa are a hard area to go soul winning? I'll tell you why. Because every teenager that you talk to, their parent has already put them under a curse of Lucifer. Every adult that you talk to that's a married adult that got married in the temple has already condemned themselves and put themselves under the thrall of Lucifer and under his power and his priesthood. Just like that priest of Bethel, they're under the power of the devil. That's a chilling thought, isn't it? Boy, don't you start blowing off your mouth making rash vows or praising false gods or you know, you better be careful not to mess around with another Jesus, a false Christ, a false word of God, a false God, an idol, a graven image, a molten image. Hey, we ought to shun these things and abstain from these things and stay as far away from them as we can because we don't want to be in these people's boat.